Hi, it's Betsy and Jessica from the Center for Governmental Studies, and we're here to talk about the hot political topic of the day, and that is Ted Stevens and the Alaska Senate race. He's winning, but he's also convicted of a felony, and Sarah Palin's in the mix here. What's going on?
Well, a jury found him guilty of a felony about a week before the election.
He was found guilty of taking illegal gifts from an oil company for renovations on his house.
Well, for false statements about those gifts on his Senate financial disclosure form. So he went around then after the jury found him guilty saying, I haven't been convicted, which is technically true because someone isn't convicted until they're sentenced. But there was kind of some interesting semantics going on.
A little gray area there.
A little gray area. So after the election, it's now about a week and a half later, there's 3,000 votes that are between Ted Stevens and his
opponent, Mark Begich.
His opponent, but there's still about 70,000 more to count. Now, they all have to be counted by November 19th, so I think at that point we'll have a good sense of who won.
Okay, so say he wins, because it's a little bit more of an interesting scenario in terms of political intrigue.
If he wins, then he can still serve in the Senate. A convicted felon can serve in the United States Senate even though they can't vote. This has never happened. But the likely scenario is that he'll either get sanctioned, that he will be kicked off the Republican caucus, or most likely is that he'll be expelled from the Senate. And that would take a 2/3 vote of the entire Senate. They probably have that because there's 57% of the Senate is Democratic. They only need a few more Republicans.
And there's already been some that have expressed sentiment that they don't want him to be part of the Senate.
Right.
So say he does get kicked out, then who gets naming privileges on who would be? Would it go to a special election, or would? Well, this is where I hear Sarah Palin comes in.
She may or may not come in. It's undecided right now in Alaska as to whether the governor can temporarily appoint a senator. There was recently a measure which repealed the governor's ability to make such an appointment, but the court hasn't finally decided whether that measure is valid or not. Now, in any event, there'll be a special election within the 3 months of Senator Stevens getting kicked out, if that's the case. And Sarah Palin could run, and 90 days from Ted Stevens being expelled, it could be Senator Palin.
But couldn't it, if she does have those privileges, couldn't she name herself to be the senator?
She could, but there would still have to be a special election. But she could appoint herself.
For an interim period until the special election.
Right.
There's a lot going on. Sarah Palin is sticking around, and there's a lot of news coming out of Alaska. So if you have any questions, please be sure and send those to us, and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Thanks.